Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Locked On Seminoles. If you're listening on a podcast platform, thank you for making us your first listen today. And I hope that we can be your first listen every day. We love that you listen to us. We love that you enjoy our content, and we'll keep bringing it to you. You know, our goal is very simple. It's to make you smarter about FSU football. That's it. We hope that we can give you one or two things that maybe you wouldn't have known had you not listened. And if we can do that, we've done our job. Now, when we're not doing that, we're just like y'all. We're two lawyers and a former lobbyist, soon to be business consultant, who love Florida State. So we talk about it on here, but there's a million things going on behind the scenes. We got kids to put to bed. We got work to do, unfortunately. We have schoolwork, as you can see by my textbooks here. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, thank you. You're like my mom at this point, just supporting me in all my new ventures. And like her, I love you for it, so thank you. If you haven't checked out the YouTube yet, make sure you swing on over there. But anyway, every now and then we got to save a little time. So what you're getting tonight is the second part of yesterday's discussion. We filmed it Sunday, so 2 nights ago as you're listening to this on Tuesday, but it's even meatier than last night's discussion. Last night we talked about kind of the coaching carousel and what the losses around college football meant for Florida State and those kinds of things. Tonight, we drill down on the numbers. I get the spreadsheet out. We look at expected win percentages, give us an expected win total for the season based on everything we now know about FSU's upcoming opponents. We also take on the biggest rumor flying around the Florida State message boards right now. Maybe not the biggest. There's a lot of rumors out there, but the one that really gets my gizzard, if you know what I mean. And that is that Odell Higgins might not be long for his position. Well, to that we say, Drake's going to hate this, Odell No. He's staying right here, and I again bust out the spreadsheet, bust out the research, and show y'all why bringing Ed Orgeron over from LSU would be a horrible decision. Just a cataclysmically bad decision by a program that doesn't need any more bad decisions. So with that, I'll kick it over to me and Drake to talk about the rest of the season, talk about some coaching rumors, and bring you Locked On Seminoles. Gentlemen, take it away.
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
If you guys want to congratulate me on the new gig, feel free to go leave a 5-star review. And make sure you check us out on YouTube. Even if you're listening to this, you don't want to go re-listen to all of it on YouTube, go subscribe to us on YouTube and hit the little notifications bell. That way next time you'll be like, maybe today's a YouTube day, you know? We do tape Tuesdays on Tuesday. Tomorrow we won't have one because of the bye week, but that's where you can see me break down game film, which is really better in a visual only medium. And in just a minute, we're going to address the rumor that's been flying around that maybe when Ed Orgeron is out at LSU, he'll replace Odell Higgins as our defensive line coach. I've got a chart that shows why that wouldn't be a good idea. But again, it's kind of for the visual only medium. Now let's talk about sort of tangentially how that Orgeron thing happened while talking about our last 2 games of the season, Drake. What did Friday and Saturday, I guess Saturday for these 2 teams, tell you about Boston College and Florida? And what's your outlook look like on those games now?
Boston College, to me, is a little bit more of a winnable game, in my personal opinion. Like, I saw Dennis Grosel actually was performing very, very well over the course of the year as he did replace Big Phil, a.k.a. Phil Dracovic, that was there. That being said, it's still going to be a very difficult game, in my personal opinion. I still have that, honestly, as an L because I do think that they have the better head coach on that sideline with Jeff Hafley. And that defense actually is improved. I know the NC State, kind of ran up on them, scored all up on them, but as we just said, NC State overall is a very damn good team, whether it be offense and defense. Corey Durden actually is playing himself into an all ACC caliber player. I don't know if you saw the picture of him actually on Twitter. He looks like in immensely great shape too. So that's going to be a difficult game. But Boston College, I think, is a little bit more winnable. Maybe we'll see how we get players.
Disappointing though.
What?
Like, I understand what they were doing, but I same thing when I was watching the game on Saturday night. I'm like, gosh, if we had Durden and Woodby right now, like, both one filling a position of need. Durden would be a great depth piece. It's like, I almost feel like Durden though has to kind of look back and go, oh man,
I give my opinion on that actually.
Yeah, give me. Yeah, I'm interested to hear what you think about that.
So a lot of people, whether it be, and on Twitter, social media, or just, message boards, I've always been like, hey, Mike, we had 30 kids leave the program, whether it be by transfer, whether it be by going to different places, stuff like that. I'm one of those people. I do agree that there is certain talent that was, that did leave the program that we should have kept hold on to. I look at DJ Matthews as a prime example of that. That being said, if you see the way, I guess, Norvell operates and how these kids, how these kids are doing now, you still, just because he's doing much better now at a different school does not mean he'd be doing the same damn thing here. It's kind of like when people go to different jobs and they excel better under better management. If something does not click between the two when they're here now, why would it be any different when, if they stayed there? So that to me is kind of one big thing there. I do think Norvell did. I think he didn't try as hardest with some of the talent, but I'm not going to automatically say that every single kid that left, will still be doing the same damn thing here if they stayed.
I'm not making that face because I'm making that face of the phrase better management, because I think it might just be that management's more suited to them. I think that, how it is. Like, how many times did you not want to walk into Fidel because some bad stuff happened in there, right? Like, I don't mean bad, but like,
what are you talking about, bro?
You know what I mean, though? Like, you have a bad, it's like, gosh, I've had a few bad nights. Like, I don't know. I just don't really feel like being in that house right now. I want to go hang out at someone else's house. It's just like, you kind of want to be out of the same vibe that that hasn't been going well for you, And I think there's something to be said for that. With a change of scenery sometimes can be all that a kid needs. Look, exactly. You've been in a place, you've played for 2 head coaches in 3 years. You're just like,
nothing too.
You're like, look, man, I really just need a total vibe change. I know it sounds like such a Gen Z word to say vibe, but y'all get what I'm saying.
It's true,
so, Drake. All right, folks, sorry to pull you away from that action, but I'm doing it to tell you about another kind of action. That's right. It's Prize Picks again. If you haven't tried Prize Picks, I have to ask, why not? Guys, Prize Picks, you pick your team, 3 to 5 players. Each one of them has an individual prop over under. So if you've got a wide receiver, it might be over under 6.5 catches. You got a running back, it might be over under 87 yards. You pick which one, where you think they're going to go, if they're going to go over that or under that. And if you're right for your entire team, just you against you have the option to be right, I guess possibility to be right, or the possibility to be wrong. And if you're right, you win money. It's that simple. So go to Prize Picks in the App Store, Google Play Store, whatever you use from your phone, Prize Picks, and use promo code LOCKEDON when you sign up to get a $100 welcome bonus when you deposit $100. Prize Picks, Locked On's the promo code. And once y'all win your money, you know what I'm going to tell you to do with it. You go to rockauto.com. Great selection, reliably low prices. It's just easy. I mean, look, I haven't fixed something on my car in months now, but when I used to have the old Jeep that, didn't always work so great, I was using Rock Auto. I won't say like it wasn't on a daily basis or anything. It wasn't that old of a Jeep, but I used it for my headlights. I used it for my tail lights. I used it to replace the belt. Was it the belt or the hose? I don't know. I either had to replace one of the hoses or maybe I had to replace one of the belts. I don't know, but I used it. It was super easy. You go to Rock Auto. It's just like, hey, what year, what make, what model, where's the problem? And they get you the part. So go to rockauto.com, tell them Locked On sent you. Let's do a quick exercise. I'm going to share my screen here and we're going to do one quick hit for the end of the season. And then I'm going to show y'all why I think replacing Odell Haggins with our boy, Ed Orgeron would not be a good idea. So first I want to have us go through, I'm going to zoom way in here and we're going to do a little expected value probability chart. Folks, what an expected value is you give the percentage likelihood of something happening, multiple activities, or multiple possible outcomes for the same activity. You multiply them all together and you get the probable outcomes. It's kind of hard to explain because there's 20 different ways you can use it. What we're going to do is put the percentage chance we think you have of winning each game. You add those together because you only play each game once, so you wouldn't multiply it. And that will give us the expected number of wins for the season for each of us. So, Drake, UMass, what do you got?
85.
All right, I'm going to put them at like a 98 because I feel good about that. Clemson, where are you going with this? You said mine.
Give me 33.
33. All right. Yeah, it's at 35 or 40. So I'm going to go with 37.5. NC State.
Give me 15.
Oh man, yeah, I was going to go even lower. That's a 5% chance for me, folks. By the way, these decimals, it's in percentages, so that's the reason. Miami, where are you at on them?
Give me 73.
Oh man, you're getting real.
Yeah,
watch that. I'm with you. Yeah, I think for me, I'm going to say because that's 4 games from now, and there could be the injury bug, and you don't know what that's going to look like. I'm going to give that a 60% chance.
Make it 69.
No. Oh, you want yours to be 69? That's close enough. No, you're at 73. No, you're locked in. It's what you said. Go ahead, Boston College. We can't take the folks' time. They're spending their Monday morning with us. We got to give them efficiency. I like it.
Give me for Boston College. Give me a 42.
All right, Boston College, we're playing in the cold, but once Dracovic went down, I'm not as high on them. I think their quarterback's average rating for the year is like an 81, and I think against NC State he had like a 42. So I think without Dracovic, they will be a very good team under what's the coach's name? Under Jeff Hafley. But I think next year is going to be their year because the young guy whose name I can't remember, I don't think he's really suited to run this offense. And if we're clicking the way I think we could be clicking by then, I don't know. I think this is another 60% chance game. I think we're kind of, them and Miami are kind of equal chances. Florida, I'll go first because I want to go first. I think you have a legitimate 40% chance to win this game. And I think people go, well, Max, I thought you just said they looked horrible. They did. But LSU also needed 3 picks, including a pick 6, to barely beat them 49-42. You guys want to really bet that this Florida State team can put up more than 42 points? Remember, they threw 3 picks and still scored 42 points, right? So it's 3 totally wasted drives, still scored 42 points. I think 40% might be a little optimistic. In fact, with the way they're playing, I'm actually going to put them down there with Clemson, and I'm going to be a little more negative because of the rivalry. I'm going to say a 35% chance, which, by the way, is more optimistic than I was in August. So just saying.
Give me 45. I personally think that defense is extremely poor. I have a feeling that Mullen might stick with Emory Jones, who, to me, if he starts that game, it's most likely going to be they're going to lose several more games. And AR-15, I think we saw actually put them back into the game. So, that team isn't to me that good. And trust me, I've watched a lot of Florida football, whether it be the beginning of the game, and also I think over the summer they spent a lot of time sort of preparing for the Alabama game in week 3. That's why I looked poor against FAU. That's why I looked poor against USF. And they lost that game. And we see with Miami right now, and we see how well that's 4 years ago. Once you play Alabama, you're not the same for several weeks after that. So to me, this Florida team, they're not that good, man. So
yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't know why. I'm not going to put the decimals in there. I'm just going to round up because I was trying to do that in my head. I was like, wait a minute. So we basically, the way this shakes out for both of us is we're both looking at about 3 wins. And look, it's what I've said consistently. It's what you've said consistently. When I look at each of these games, I see 1 for sure win. But when I look at the aggregate, I see 2 to 3 wins. And I think that's about where our expectations should be. Hey, folks, sorry to interrupt. Last time, I promise, but I got to tell y'all about my favorite product. Literally, it's like my favorite thing we do. It is. It's like don't pick your favorite kid, but we all know that one of them bothers you more than the other ones. You know what I mean? Not that any of our, sponsors bother me, but Sweatblock's definitely the best one because you see me now because I'm on camera. You can watch me on YouTube. I know I've plugged YouTube 7 or 8 times today, but just go subscribe, click the bell. But you know what you don't see? You don't see sweat. Look at that. Super dry. Yeah, it's navy blue, but hey, force of habit. Yeah, that's because of Sweatblock. Folks, it's so easy. You get in the shower. You hop out of the shower. You hit yourself with the Sweatblock wipe once a week. Literally, that's all it takes is once a week, and it will drastically reduce your sweating, or so they guarantee. It's not just me. It's the company itself guarantees that it will work or they will give you your money back. That's right. That's how confident they are in Sweatblock. So go to sweatblock.com or go to Amazon or even go down to CVS and pick it up in person. Their wide array of products from, the wipes that the medicated wipes, I don't like the term medicated because it makes it sound like a condition. We're all, some of us dudes, we just sweat. It's hot in Florida. The creams, all that good stuff. Sweat Block is phenomenal. It is the only wingman you need when it's hot outside, which I'm finding out is literally every single day in Florida. So go to sweatblock.com, promo code locked on. Final stop. This is my little chart I made. Sorry, don't worry about that up there. That's finance homework. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. So this is a little chart I made, and we were talking about Ed Orgeron as a coach. And one thing Drake brought up was, well, what about his recruiting? Which, fair question, it gets tossed around. So what I wanted to look at was, how does his recruiting compare at LSU to what LSU was doing before? So right here, 2015 is when Orgeron started as the D-line coach. 2017 is when he started as the head coach. So the way I compared it was I compared these 4 years, and I'll show you all the comparisons down here in a moment, to the 4 years without him. But I also looked at his time totally with the program, these 6 years, because 2 years as the defensive line coach at LSU, to the previous 6 years without him. So I looked at the recruiting rankings. Now this 5-4-3, that is 5-star D lineman he recruited successfully, 4-star D lineman he recruited successfully, 3-star defensive lineman he recruited successfully. So looking at that before Coach O, which this is just crazy, LSU's average recruiting class was number 6.5 in the nation. When he was their D-line coach, they were going through a lot of great stuff. Their average was 3.5 in the nation. Since he's been their head coach, though, their average has fallen to 6.5 in the nation and overall recruiting class, down to 7.75 with him as the head coach. Now you look at 5 stars. Before Coach O, I'm going to actually look at, this doesn't really tell you a lot when you look at average, but before Coach O, they successfully recruited 2 5-star D linemen. They got 0 with him as the D line coach, and they've gotten, 1 with him as the D line coach, 0 with him as the head coach. So during Coach O's entire tenure, he's gotten 1 less 5-star D line recruit than he did, than LSU did in the 6 years before him. 4 stars, it's very similar. In just his time as a head coach compared to his time when he wasn't there, when LSU didn't have Coach O at all, he's recruited 3 more 4 stars. In his time since, if you include when he was the D-line coach, and you look at those 6 years of him being D-line and head coach, to him not being there at all for 6 years before that, he's recruited 2 less 4 stars. Now, we'll go ahead and jump to the end. Spoiler alert. Where the numbers really shine is he's recruited 9 more. If you look at the 6 years when he was D-line coach and head coach combined in the 6 years, and then you look at the 6 years prior to that at LSU without Coach O, he's recruited 9 more 3-star defensive linemen than the control group of the 6 years before him. So Orgeron's very good at recruiting more 3-star defensive linemen. Now you say, Max, why are you looking at D-line? Well, the rumor is right now, and this is kind of rumors that similar to Jimbo to LSU, right? Like this is all just in the ether. It's very much, who knows what's going on. But there are people are saying, hey, what if he went to Florida State as the D-line coach? Y'all know, and Drake, I think we have differing opinions on this, which is fine. I don't like taking coaches that have been demoted, especially not that far, right? Like to me, it's almost better if you're going down to analyst because that says you'll be a head coach again one day than like, oh yeah, we've decided you're just a D-line coach for life. But anyway, the last thing I looked at was, okay, is he a good D-line coach? And as a head coach, since that's the position group he coached, what's his impact been like on the defensive line? So I went to Football Outsiders. They measure, I believe I can tell you real quick. They measure 9 different advanced metrics to grade a defensive line. I averaged each of those together where LSU ranked to tell you what their rank was in the country of defensive line play. It only goes back to 2014, so only 1 year without Orgeron. The year before he became defensive line coach, LSU was 44th in the nation. The 2 years he was there, they were 51st and 40th. And since he's been head coach, they've been 49th best D-line in the country, 66th best D-line in the country, 45th best D-line in the country, and last year, 67th best D-line in the country. So, Drake, you see there, he hasn't really had any kind of measurable impact on defensive line play compared to what LSU's done before him. And recruiting-wise, he really hasn't done anything other than bring in a bunch of three-star guys, which clearly have not translated to production, right? If he were a defensive line guru, well, you'd want to see his 2 years as D-line coach, that average, which, what is this average right here, about 45 and a half, be substantially better than the years before he was there. And his average over those 2 years is almost identical to how the D-line performed the year before. And as the head coach, he has failed to have his team match the 2014 number even once. So I don't know, man. I know it's a lot of numbers I just threw at you guys. If you're not seeing this on YouTube, we may have taken a lot of that out for the podcast. That is up to Drake to decide. Check it out on YouTube to get my full breakdown of why I think Orgeron over to Florida State and to replace Odell Haggins would be a bad move. But those are my thoughts. The prosecution rests, Your Honor.
Yeah, I just don't want him here for, it's not even on the field stuff.
Max, I could have saved you a ton of work on that one.
Yeah, no, there's just, from everything I hear from like going inside the program, outside the program, off the field stuff, I don't want him anywhere near my program at all whatsoever until all that stuff is cleared up. Or quite frankly, I think that the culture that right now that we're trying to develop at the school is not conducive actually to him coming in. That would just throw a wrench in all those plans. And what the thing is, I will say in his defense for that, it's really hard to see, like, you already have like a top 5 almost recruiting class every single year, and you still remain primarily in that top 5. He also has, I think, 7 or 8 kids right now in the NFL from those recruiting prospects. So, and also with head coaching, you know better than I do that when you become an HC, you don't really focus all that much on specifically your own old position group. They also have gone through three separate defensive line coaches, I think, the past 3 years. Now, that also points more to what I said earlier, where off the field, him not, being able to work with certain staffs actually at all whatsoever, like in a conducive manner. But yeah, I don't want that man at the school personally. I don't. I think Odell, he's done a great job here. I think he is coming to the end of his career here. But there's definitely going to be better options out there than old Farmer Fran there. So
I'm glad you said Farmer Fran. Yeah, look, I think when Odell reaches his time, first of all, you let him pick when that time is, and secondly, I think there's going to be another Alex Atkins out there, but on the defensive side of the ball to go get. So, folks, thanks for making us your first listen today. Make sure you go rate and review 5 stars. Tell us what you love about the show. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell icon so you get notified of things right away. And most importantly, stop by again tomorrow. We are here 5 days a week. I'm Max. That was Drake. And this was Locked On Seminoles.
Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week.
I got some Taco Bell waiting for you, man. I can't wait.
I'm not